Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make these Solomon Pearl Bracelets. This pattern can also be adapted for a necklace. You can just repeat the same pattern over and over to make a longer version. But yeah, these are basically made up, really simple to make. They're basically made up of chaining and the Solomon stitch, where we're actually going to be putting in the little pearls. So for this pattern, you are going to need, some glass pearls, beads, and these beads you can just pick up off eBay fairly easily. You also want to make sure that you've got a needle that fits through the center of the pearls as well, pearl beads. I'm just using a normal sewing needle, so it's quite thin, so you're going to need one of those as well. Probably also going to need a yarn needle as well. It's always useful to have. And we're going to be using a 2.5mm crochet hook, and we're going to be using a cotton DK light worsted weight yarn. This is 100% cotton, and I think this is Rico Design cotton off the top of my head, and this time I'm going to be using a green colour. And also, if you want to, you can obviously just tie the ends around your wrist as well, but I've opted to use these little clasp here. So I picked these up off eBay as well. They're fairly cheap to get, and you need one of these little circle things, little metal circles. They're just simple circles of metal, and that gets sewn in that side. So we need one of those, and also one of these little clasp things, whatever you want to call them as well. But obviously you don't have to use those if you don't want to. You can just tie the ends around your wrist if you want to. Okay, so let's begin. Oh, and you'll also need some scissors. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to sew the end of your cotton yarn onto your normal sewing needle, the needle that fits through the beads. And then you want to get 12 of these little glass pearl beads. So you want 12, and they're rolling everywhere. Let's just line those up there. Okay, so you want 12 of those. Then all you do is simply thread them onto your yarn. So you need to make sure that the beads that you choose, or the needle that you choose, and that goes through your bead and also over your yarn as well. So you want to thread 12 of those onto your cotton yarn. That's 2. 3. Okay, so when you've threaded all 12 of your glass pearl beads onto your yarn, you just want to take off your sewing needle and bring in your 2.5mm crochet hook. Okay, so you want to leave a little bit of a yarn end so we can sew it or tie it around our wrists, and we're just going to work we're just going to chain 2 to begin. So we just do our slip knot, and then we're just going to chain 2. So that's 1 and 2, like so. Then we want to bring up a bead, just one bead by itself, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work a Solomon stitch, and to do that is we chain 1, like so, making sure we've caught our bead like that, and then we're going to put our hook through the gap between the bead and our chains. You can see that there. Just going to put our hook through that gap, just underneath that bit, yeah, there. Then we're going to grab our yarn like that, and then we're just going to work then we're going to work a single crochet, like so, and then that encapsulates our pearl bead in our little Solomon stitch, like so. Then we're just going to we're going to chain 2 again, so 1 and 2. And we're going to bring up another bead, and we're going to work another Solomon stitch. And all we do is hook our bead under there, and we're going to grab our yarn the other side of the bead and bring that through, a slip stitch through like a chain there. Then we're going to put our hook through the gap between our bead and our chains and grab our yarn again. So just doing exactly the same as we've done before. Bring our yarn up and work a single crochet. And there's our second one, like so. So I'm going to do that again. So we then chain 2, 1 and 2, and grab our next bead, like so. Then we're going to grab our yarn the other side of the bead and just bring that through our loop, like so. And then we're going to put our hook through the gap between our stitches and our bead, making sure to go underneath the top thread there. Then we're going to grab our yarn, bring it through the gap, and then just work a single crochet, like so. So we're just repeating the same method over and over again. And there's our little bead caught in our next Solomon stitch. And again, you just repeat the same pattern over and over again until you've used up all your beads. So you just chain 2 and then bring up your next bead. And it's just the same process. Grab the yarn from the other side of the bead and bring it through our loop. Then we place our hook between the bead and our stitches that we're working, the gap there, just underneath that top piece of thread. Grab our yarn, bring it up, and then work your single crochet, like so. And just keep repeating that until you've used up all your beads, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Then the very last one, just working the last bead. Single crochet to put it into place, and then all we do to finish up is chain 2, like so. And then we want to fasten off, and you want to leave a little length if you want to tie it or sew it in. And just bring your yarn up through, like so. Put that to the side, and there's our finished bracelet, almost finished bracelet. So you've crocheted in all your beads, like so, using the chaining and the Solomon stitch technique. And all that's left to do now is you can either finish there and just use these remaining tail ends to tie onto your wrist, or for a more professional finish, what I'm actually going to do is we're going to get one of these little silver, they're just little silver bits of metal worked into a circle, little silver loop, and also one of these like little clasps. And again, I got these off eBay, they're fairly easy to find. So all we're going to do is we're going to sew these onto each end of our bracelet. So we're going to get a yarn needle, and we're going to take one end of our bracelet and thread that onto our yarn needle. And then you just literally thread your silver loop onto your bracelet, like so. Then all we need to do is just fix this into place by sewing a few knots, as it were. Like so. And we just work a few stitches around just to tighten that into place. So it's fixed firmly into place and isn't going to come undone. And when you're happy, just literally cut the end piece of your yarn. Then do exactly the same with the other side. But this time what you want to do with the other end is, you'll notice on these little clasps you've got a tiny little loop on the end there. And what you want to do is to thread your yarn through that loop and then sew it into place. Okay, so what you want to do is thread that through the little silver loop on the end. I have to do that off camera, I'm afraid, it's really fiddly to do with the camera in front of me. And then just move that down into place and then thread the tail end piece onto your yarn needle, and then like we did for the other end, we then just sew that securely into place by working some random stitches like so. So just do that a few times, just sew anywhere, just to make sure it's not going to come undone. Okay, so I've just finished sewing in the little end pieces like so, so they're nice and secure, and that's our finished bracelet. So all that's left to do is to do it up like so. So there we go. They actually fit over my wrist without having to undo them as well. I've got quite skinny wrists. So these should fit most people. But of course, if you want to make them longer or smaller, you can just use less beads and then just do less repeating pattern to make them larger or smaller. And again, you can make this really, really long and turn it into a necklace as well. And these are really lovely for, if you made one in blue, you could give it as a wedding gift for something blue. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that more unusual crochet tutorial. And yeah, so I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.